What is up, everybody? It is that Wakefield guy here with another story time with yours truly, that Wakefield guy. And I know I said in the last video I was going to do my entire baseball career, but unfortunately I can't remember all the way back to when I got started and stuff like that. I mean, I know I got started in Little League and stuff like that, and Little League was one of the only times my teams ever went undefeated. But I can't remember a whole lot about Little League and Modified to make a whole story time based on it. So I'm going to talk about, if you haven't told by the title already, or if you haven't seen by the title already, excuse me. The story time I'm going to be doing today is my time I spent at Walt Disney World with the baseball team during spring training. At Disney World, obviously. So yeah, let's get right into it. And this is also a story time that also makes me hate Mr. P even just a little bit more. Because of the financial situation we're in now, but we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, we're still suffering from it. Anyway, let's get started in the video, shall we? Alright, just put that down over here. Okay, so I started having baseball booster meetings, because that's what our whole club slash organization is in my hometown of Oxford, is the Oxford Baseball Boosters, which basically is a fundraising community to help us get better equipment and take us places like Disney World and places like that. It started probably, I want to say, in either October or November, maybe even September. It was one of those 3 months. We started having talks about spring training at Disney and how we were going to fund it and all that. Excuse me. And again, I apologize if I sound hoarse and nasally. It's because, again, I'm getting over a cold. We started having talks about going to Disney World and what we were going to do there, because we don't discuss prices right away, at least not directly. So we started talking about that, started talking about different fundraiser events to have to raise money, because in order for the whole team to go to Disney World comfortably and be able to do pretty much everything there, you're going to want at least $10,000 or $15,000. But you can still get the team there with $5,000 and up. So yeah, we started having talks about that, and that's when the whole dodgeball tournament came in. And I think, if I remember correctly, we had 2 events in one. We had a bottle and can drive, and the wow, I just said it too. The dodgeball tournament, excuse me. On the same day, I think we ended up raising $2,500 that day for the Disney trip, and we kept having more and more fundraisers. We had the Final Four NBA or whatever, the NCAA shits. No, we didn't have March Madness. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. No, we didn't have March Madness. We had finals and shit, like scoreboards and stuff like that, where people would send in money to which team you think is going to win that year. We had a Super Bowl thing go on. We had a Super Bowl thing. We had a bunch of fundraising stuff going on. We ended up raising $8,000, I think, to our cause. So that's pretty much enough money to do everything at the parks except for eat at restaurants every day. Because, believe it or not, Disney restaurants are fucking expensive. I can tell you everything there you need to know about Disney. Because I've been there 2 times, 3 times? I don't remember exactly how many. But yeah, and that's when we started to get fucked over, money-wise. December, they told us we needed at least $800 a week prior to when it was due, mind you, in order to secure a plane ticket. And they have the nerve to tell us, well, you should have checked your emails. Well, you didn't give us the fucking email. So how the fuck were we supposed to check our emails? Keep us up to date on this shit, man. Which I hope they fix within the near future, because that's a load of shit for giving us shit for something that we never received and we've asked for many times, but we wouldn't get it. So we just secure all the financial stuff that we need, and the time comes to board the plane, or to go to the airport rather. And mind you, this is my first, at this time it was my first time flying, and I was terrified of heights and stuff like this, and I still am to a certain extent. Like, I still won't go skydiving. Fuck that. So we have to leave our houses by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, which I'm already pissed off because I have to wake up that early. So, and we had to drive an hour and a half. I think actually it might have been 2 hours, because I live in Oxford, New York, which is about an hour towards Pennsylvania, or an hour north of Pennsylvania. We had to drive all the way to Wilkes-Barre International, because, you know, that's the only logical place to go besides Syracuse. So we get at I get at Wilkes-Barre. Me and my father get at Wilkes-Barre International at 8 o'clock, I think. No, not 8 o'clock. What the fuck am I talking about? 6:30, I think. We get there at like 6:30. And somehow most of my team's already there. And yeah, of course, my teammates are picking on me because they know I don't like flying and stuff like this. And or at the time I didn't. Now, I'll go back on an airplane. But at the time, I wanted nothing to do with it. So yeah, we go through security, which, by the way, airport security is a fucking bitch in America. Anybody will tell you the same thing that lives in America. It is a fucking bitch to get through airport security in America. They tell you to take your shoes off and take all belongings out of your pockets, put them in a certain thing. They run them through an x-ray and all this stuff, and they run your carry-on through an x-ray, then they run you through an x-ray, basically, to walk through x-rays, and they walk you through like 15 different metal detectors, including the little magic wand that they carry with them everywhere. It's a hassle. And it takes way longer to get through airport security than it should. So by the time we get through airport security, it's already like 8 o'clock in the morning, which is around the time we're supposed to board the plane. But something happened, so we were sitting there for another hour, and then they tell us to board the plane. And we boarded the plane. And at the time of me being scared of flying, I wanted nothing to do with sitting by the window on the wing. But sure enough, my ticket was on the wing by the window on the left. So I get to listen to the fucking window vibrate the whole way there. So I'm already shitting bricks because I'm in the airplane because I don't know what to expect. And it takes them about 30 minutes to prep everything to take off. And we were flying Southwest Airlines, by the way. They're the only ones that I know that does one-way charter trips to Florida. And their flight attendants are awesome, by the way. They helped me through a lot. Excuse me. And my first takeoff was not fun at all. Because, you know, they tell you your first time flying to not look out the window during takeoff. Well, guess what I did? I looked out that window and just about passed out like a bitch. Of course, my friends are laughing at me and stuff like that. They're having a good-ass time watching me. But the flight went pretty smoothly. And we end up landing in Orlando International with no issues. And because to fly from Wilkes-Barre all the way to Orlando, Florida, or fly from Wilkes-Barre International to Orlando International takes about 2 hours and 10 minutes, just a straight flight there. So we were there in no time. So we got on the plane at 8:30 and we got there by 10:30. And we get off the plane, and this airport's gorgeous, by the way. This is a nice, nice airport. Huge airport. And I'd never seen anything like it before. I thought it was awesome. Like, I wanted to stay at the airport. And with it being, with it being Orlando International and as busy as it is, you're going to have people from all over the world in there. And I got to see firsthand Syrian refugees and stuff like that, which is a pretty sad sight. But, hey, what can you do? And we get through airport security once again, which takes us about a fucking hour. And we hop on the Disney coach bus to the resort that we stayed at, which was the Caribbean Beach. And little to my knowledge, we end up bunking in the same area that 15 other teams were staying at. From all over the country, even Canada. So yeah, we get to the hotel. And we have to wait an hour to get into our rooms, and it's hot and it's muggy, and I'm mad because I had to wake up at 3 o'clock, and they told us it was going to be an hour before our rooms are ready, so go ahead and explore the place. So we were exploring Disney Resort with our bags in hand and shit, and which was nice. I mean, because I got to catch up with a few friends that I hardly get to talk to, but then Disney staff stopped us like, your rooms are ready, so you can go ahead and take your bags to your room now. Which, at the time, we all had carry-on in our hands. So we go to our rooms. Me and Dad went to our room, and we noticed something that was off. And it turns out we didn't get the correct bags. So we had to call Disney, the Disney concierge at the Caribbean Beach to look for our bags. When you have to give them your first and last name so they know who to look for. And our bags came within 15 minutes, which was pretty cool of them. And I was hoping it was going to be quick because we had spring training practice before we get into real games, about 15 minutes. But in about 15 minutes, I should say, after settling into our rooms. And I noticed something off about my bags as I'm looking through it. So I'm looking through my bags, and I noticed my shit's strewn around, and shit's broken in there. My sunglasses that I brought, that I paid fucking $20 for, were busted into. Those were my team glasses. And then at the bottom of the bag, I find a friendly little note from TSA saying, yeah, your bag was handpicked to be looked through for any potential harmful chemicals. Basically, that note that you get from TSA says, your bag was hand selected because we thought you were a potential terrorist. And at the bottom of the note that says, we're not responsible for any damages done in this bag. Which pissed me off immediately, because that's like me writing you a note after shooting you in the leg, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not responsible for any injuries that happen if I shoot you in the leg. So at that time, I wanted to go back to the airport and bitch out TSA, and I was not a happy camper that day. And Disney staff had to leave me alone because they just knew. They just knew what was going on. So yeah, we get to practice, and it was really hot. It had to have been like 95, 96 degrees over in Florida while we were practicing. It was freaking hot. It was nice, though. I like hot weather, but not when I'm practicing in it. So yeah, we get done with practice, and we go back to the rooms and talk and stuff like that, catch up with each other. Because we have the whole back lot to ourselves, the whole garden pavilion area to ourselves, which I thought was pretty cool. And next day comes, and we have a game outside of the stadium, and we play that game, and I think we versed no, we didn't verse Connecticut that day. We versed, where was it? I think we versed Rhode Island, one of the high school teams at Rhode Island. And I think we end up winning against those guys, not by much, but I think we end up winning against them. Then we played another game, which was a New York team, and we lost against them pretty bad. And because there's not much story to go off of after the first two games. So after the first 2 games, we were allowed to go to the parks and use our park passes and stuff. And I wanted to go explore the parks more, and I wanted to go explore the resort areas because that's something I didn't get to do when I went there the first time. And let me tell you something about some of those resorts. Those was the resorts I highly recommend you guys go visit are, even if you're not staying there, you're allowed to visit them, are the Fort Wilderness Lodge, or I think it's just called the Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Resort, which they have a whole giant African safari area out and back with live animals. And their lobbies are fucking gorgeous, man. And I highly recommend you go visit the Polynesian Resort and the Grand Floridian. You might not have the money to stay there, but you're always welcome to take tours and stuff. They have tour guides there that you can pay. I think it was like $35 for a tour around either around the hotel or in the kitchen areas, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. I thought it was badass. So not much happens in the parks besides them trying to force me on a fucking roller coaster. And if anybody knows me, that I don't like riding roller coasters. And we went to Hollywood Studios, which I think they changed the name now because they were talking about a name change. And that also happens to be the last time I got to see the Sorcerer's Hat because they tore that down. They tried to get me on Rock and Roller Coaster, which I know a lot of you asking, why didn't you go on it? Well, I don't like roller coasters. I don't like riding them. That's just not my idea of fun. I'm not hating on anybody that likes riding roller coasters. It's just not my cup of tea. And little to my knowledge, I walked into a fucking John Panette joke because they were out there riding the rides, and later they found me in the gift shop because I wouldn't go on the roller coaster with them. I found myself legitimately trying to hide from them in every part of the park that I went. So yeah, that was the thing that happened. And next day, it was an off day. Excuse me. We got to explore more of the parks, and I wanted to go to Epcot again because Epcot, by the way, is my favorite Disney park. I love Epcot. And especially the World Showcase at Epcot. If you guys ever get the chance to go, if you've never been, obviously, go to Epcot and go take a tour around World Showcase. The World Showcase is a mile long, but it takes you to all these different countries. And the people that work in these different countries, which are basically the different areas, the different pavilions, are actual people from those countries. So you get to experience a little bit of their culture, which I thought was awesome. I love it there every time I go there. So nice. They're such nice people. Except Germany. Fuck those Germans. They need to get new Germans. Their Germans were mean. Yeah, I took a tour around World Showcase, and we got back to the rooms, and we have Coach come up to our room. He's like, prepare your uniforms and stuff like that because we're going to the Atlanta Braves spring training stadium to play tomorrow. And at this point, I was excited. I've never played on a major league field, never even stepped foot on one. I've watched a major league game before, the Yankees versus the Angels in 2004, but I've never actually stepped foot on a major league field. So I couldn't get any sleep that night. I mean, I finally did fall asleep, but luckily I got enough. But I was so excited I barely got any sleep. Woke up next morning, we went out and played. That was when we played Connecticut, which they were a really, really good team. They were a really good team. And they beat us bad. They beat us, what was it? 35 to 10. Or no, 35 to 15. They were really good. We were beating the fuck out of each other too, though. Only white guy on their team, though, which I thought was hilarious. Not a racist statement. This is just an observation that I made because I thought it was hilarious, and fucked up shit's hilarious to me. The only white guy on their team was the coach, and he was a dick. He was a straight up asshole. But yeah, that was a lot of fun playing on that field though. And next day comes, and actually before the next day comes, there was a strange guy hanging around the other building right across from ours at like 10 o'clock at night. Small Mexican dude. I don't remember what his name was, but he was a nice dude after I got to talk to him a day later, but asked him what was going on and why you're loitering out there. He's like, oh no, I'm waiting for somebody. And he's like, okay, well you should probably get moving. He's like, all right. 10 minutes later, shows back up, and he does this 5 times. Then when my dad and my friend's dad, which is like a second father to me, by the way, we're just gonna call him Mr. H. My dad and Mr. H say detain him because my dad is a head security officer for a nursing home, but he has a lot of law enforcement credentials and stuff, so he could be a cop if he wanted to be. And Mr. H works as a corrections officer at some prisons and stuff like that. So they detain him. They call Disney security, which Disney security doesn't do much, so they call the Kissimmee County sheriffs over, and that's when they give him the names and stuff like that. And I guess the girls across our building, the softball team, hired him as a bodyguard because, you know, that's what you need on Disney property. But I talked to him a day later, and he was cool. He was a cool dude. I like him. Props to you. We're just going to call him Juan. Juan's a cool dude. So yeah, a day later we play against, I think it was Waterville or No, it wasn't Waterville. Cincinnatus, I think we played against. And we got halfway through that game. Luckily, they canceled the game because we were losing bad. Halfway through the game, we had a tornado warning. And for those that don't know, Florida gets hit with the most tornadoes every single year. Florida has the highest tornado activity in the entire world. So I hear the alarms going off, and they tell us to take shelter in one of the big buildings, and they end up going into the ESPN shop, or the ESPN eatery area, and they call it the mess hall, I think is what they call it, and take shelter there. Luckily, we were going to eat there that same day, too, because it was one of our last days. So we end up staying in there, and yeah, it was our last game, so we end up eating there. So we ate there. The food actually wasn't that bad. I'll give them that one. The food was pretty good for it being basically a fast food joint in a humongous fucking building. And it was great to socialize with some of the team and whatnot. And the last day at the parks, it was our free day, so we went wherever the hell we wanted, and we all met up back there, and they had a huge 4-course meal set out for us at like 10 o'clock at night, just for us being at the Disney Resort, and we all got to hang around, talk, eat, laugh, and play around, joke around in our own little private area. It was really nice. And then the next day we had to board the plane and leave, and yeah, that's where that story ends. Besides, actually no it doesn't, because then TSA held us up for about 2 hours because something went wrong with their system, because the machines were going off, so we were in line for fucking 2 hours at TSA. Just them searching through fucking everybody because they swore to God there was a terrorist. God forbid, because I have a beard. Anyway. Yeah, so then our plane got delayed 2 hours, so we had to get on the plane at around 11, 12 o'clock. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was 3 or 4 o'clock is when we got on the plane in the afternoon. And we didn't get home until late that night. And that's where the story ends. So yeah. What did I like about this trip, is that I'll probably never get the opportunity to do this again. It was definitely one hell of an experience. Like, how often are you going to be able to play on a major league field? Oh, that's another thing. We ended up running into the Atlanta Braves team. They were having a meeting up in the fucking skybox during one of our games, and it was awesome. But yeah, I'll never be able to have an experience like that again, and I'm glad I went with the team. But the question I get asked the most is, was it worth going to? And I say yes and no. No, because we wouldn't be in the financial situation we're in now, and my family at least. And yes, because it was something special for me at the time, and it still is. And I'm never going to be able to do anything like this again. Things like this come once in a lifetime. I'll never be able to get to play on the major league field again. And that was really special to me. And I stole a few pieces of that field and took home for myself as souvenirs. Like, I ripped the rubber off of certain things where the Braves and shit sat, and I took a baseball, and they had a fragment of a bat in there, and that was fucking it was awesome. So yeah, that ends the story there, because I'm making this video too long now. Alright. So yeah, I got more stories planned, and I have one planned that I'm not going to tell you guys yet, because I have to have Tim in on this one, because Tim decided he was going to volunteer for this video, so yeah. Alright, you know the drill, people. You like my videos, any of my videos, rate, comment, subscribe down below. And if you have a movie to suggest to me that I should watch, or a video game that you want me to play, put them in the comments down below. The one that gets the most thumbs up, I'll watch or play once I get the money, because, you know, I'm broke. But yeah, like my videos, any of my videos, rate, comment, subscribe down below. Oh, and before I forget, I gotta give a shout out to my cousin Lucas. He has a new channel now called Drop City, and he's blown up pretty good, or pretty rapidly. Excuse me. So you should go give him a like and go subscribe to him. He has a bunch of different dubstep songs on there and whatnot, and it's a cool channel. I think you guys will go like him. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, after that, and so on and so forth. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.